the rest of my New Japan Cup review. I'm going to be reviewing the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. As a little differently for spoiler-free, of course, but before you go, I'll just kind of go over really quick. If you're strapped for time, you could skip the Sanada Toru Yano match, the Fale Tanahashi match. If you're really strapped for time, you can only see like 2 or 3 matches. Watch Zack Sabre Jr. versus Kota Ibushi, Juice Robinson versus Hiroshi Tanahashi in the finals. And if you're just really strapped for time, you can only watch 1 match. Watch the finals of the New Japan Cup. So, just wanted to get that out of the way real quick. As without further ado, I'll get on with the review now. As talking about the round 2, or the quarterfinals rather, as March 14th and 15th. We'll start with the 14th, of course. The venue here in Fuji Shizuoka reminded me of an old Murphy Rec Center. Reminded me of the old Murphy Rec Center in Philadelphia. Just it's a bit bigger. As the first match, Juice Robinson versus Michael Elgin, a decent little match. I thought it was put together well. I liked the finish. Thought it was a great way to end a match with both guys as the baby faces and not killing anybody's credibility or anything. As Elgin went for a powerbomb, Juice reversed into a small package for the win. That was I liked the finish. I thought it was a cool little finish. As then we go on to Fale versus Tanahashi. This was, as expected. If you've ever seen a Fale versus Tanahashi match, you've pretty much seen them all. Tanahashi using his speed early on, and then Fale finally catches him and he beats the shit out of him early on, and then Tanahashi's gonna make the big comeback. It's a simple story, but it's done not well, decently, I guess. It's done as well as that match could be done, and I mean the crowd give a shit about it, so there's that. They're not just like non-reacting to it or anything, so at least there's that. Tanahashi gets the win with a count-out win after Fale tries to hit the bad luck fall on the floor. Tanahashi pushes himself off the ring post, sends Fale flying over the barricade, giving him enough time to roll back into the ring for the count-out win. This is actually pretty well done for a count-out finish, I'll give him that. As, they had to protect Fale. He's the big monster of New Japan. They gotta protect him. As that makes Juice Robinson versus Hiroshi Tanahashi the first semifinals. That's pretty awesome. I mean, it's a great story. The senpai, the student and teacher, the hot, young, up-and-coming gaijin, Juice Robinson versus the former ace, the man who's been there, done that, has done it all, and is the leader of the Lion Mark team. It's a great little story. But a sidebar, if you don't know, Juice Robinson, his promos are some of the best, if not the best pure babyface promos in the wrestling world right now. They are so good. He is such a believable babyface. And his promos on the 15th and 16th were so good. Hyping up his match for Tanahashi and in the aftermath of his match against Tanahashi. They're both really good. Go check them out if you can. At YouTube now, New Japan's English YouTube channel has been posting them. They're on the New Japan World. So if you don't have New Japan World, you can still check them out on YouTube there. As going on to the 15th, as we have Sanada versus Toru Yano, I was really hoping that Kiwi roll at the beginning of the match was the finish. That would have been fucking great, but I digress. The spot where Sanada stops the ref while he's pinned and he's, stopping him so he can kick out. I fucking love that. I don't know why, just the spot, because you rarely see it. It's such a great heel move, and it takes a bit of timing. Like, you can fuck that up, and it could go really bad. But Sanada makes Yano tap out here. Really no surprise. You could have skipped it. Like I said earlier, the stuff you could have skipped. As, it's just, I thought it was just very predictable. So there's that. And that happens in a tournament. As we go for the best match of round 2, in my opinion, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Kota Ibushi, and the last match of round 2. The CWC finals that we deserve to get, goddammit. I'll never let that go. It's been 2 years. I'll never let it die. Until now, though. As no surprise, this was fucking great. So many great spots. The strike exchanges, the joint manipulations from both guys, not just Zack. Kota did some great stuff there. Were phenomenal. to really just point out there, and Zack gets the win by referee stoppage, which was, brutal. He went, he's had the submission hold, and he's kicking the shit out of Ibushi, and he's still not giving up, and then he finally just wrenches to another submission hold, and finally Red Shoes just says, "Fuck it, man, we gotta call this." Like, it was so brutal, but it was so good, though. What a match. That was, God bless him. That was awesome. As making the semifinals for that side of the bracket, Sonata versus Zack Sabre Jr., 2 submission specialist guys, 2 heels too, and in the semifinals of that, I was very excited for both of the matches just because they have great dynamics. We have babyface versus babyface team, and we have a heel versus heel team a matchup here, so it makes sense to it's a different dynamic to say the least. That's to it could be very well done, too. And as the first semifinal matchup, Juice Robinson versus Hiroshi Tanahashi, it's hard to have a good babyface versus babyface match because at the end of the day, someone's got to be the heel. Someone's got to be that guy. Even though it's Japan and it's not a babyface and heels, you got to still have that kind of dynamic. And they did the smart thing with having Tanahashi be more the face, Juice being more showing that fire, showing that passion. As once they started rocking and rolling here early on, it was really coming together really well, and Juice throwing him into the railing, and the crowd was kind of starting to cheer more and more for Tanahashi as it was going on. But it makes sense. That's kind of what should be expected. He's been the former ace and whatnot. But Juice hits a high fly flow. Holy shit, that was an awesome spot. What a great false finish. As then followed up by a dragon suplex from Tanahashi. Tanahashi hits 2 high fly flows, one on Juice's back and once on his chest area there. And great job from both guys, because this not only does the ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi, now go ace, go. He's going to the finals, but it really elevates Juice as well. And just the overkill of having not just 1 high fly flow, but 2, and showing Juice as a legitimate threat. That was great. I thought that was a great idea, a great spot for that. As the last semifinal matchup, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Sonata. Really good stuff here. Though, to be honest, it is the worst of Zack's 4 matches, which isn't a bad thing by any means, but there's got to be a worst, there's got to be a best. That's just how it goes of his little run here, but it still was a good match, to say the least. The fighting for the abdominal stretch spot into the Saito suplex from Sonata, that was a great spot. I really enjoyed that. As Sonata goes for the moonsault, Zack gets the knees up, counters into a triangle choke, transitions to another submission, makes Sonata tap out. Holy shit. Zack goes on to the finals. Hell yeah. The post-match promo from Zack, I'm sure everybody's heard it by now. But this post-match promo was great. Zack has a fantastic line. Tanahashi's held together by hairspray and athletic tape. What a fucking line. That was so good. Such a great line. Here's a guy in Zack Sabre Jr. He's not the greatest promo guy. I'd say that's definitely not one of his strengths, if I had to say, talking to someone about Zack Sabre Jr. who's never seen him, for the most part. But in New Japan, where promos, you could just say whatever you want. The handcuffs are off. You can say whatever. It really lets guys who promos aren't their strength able to thrive in it and have great promos. It happened with Devitt. Devitt's promos in New Japan are great because they let him be him. He can just be a cocky prick and say, just be himself. With so many other guys, I can't even name off the top of my head. I could go on. Just pretty much everyone. AJ did great doing it. A guy who's never been a strong promo. He did great in New Japan doing promos. It lets guys especially when you're in the United States and WWE, where it's such a ordeal. There's a script for you. You gotta do it a certain way. If you come across the wrong way, you probably get heat with someone, and it's a terrible. Really, you're walking on eggshells the whole goddamn time. But here in New Japan, you just relax and be yourself. It's great, but as also the post-match promos. It's literally like right when you walk through the curtain, there's a little press conference section, and there you got the promo right there. That's another aspect that it comes across as if it's legitimate. he's been thinking about it the whole time. It's not like a script where, you know, it's the typical wrestling thing, you know, and it feels spontaneous. Just an underrated thing I like to say about New Japan is their promos. So I just want to get that out there as well. As then the finals are set here. Go Ace! Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Zack Sabre Jr. The rubber match between the two, both 1-1. Zack beat him the first time in the G1 Climax. Tanahashi beat him in the rematch for the IC title. And now we have the rubber match. Also, we now have a Suzuki Tanahashi, effect into this. Because if you have to think, if Tanahashi wins the cup, it's a good chance he's going to challenge for the IC belt again. I mean, he never technically lost it. Red Shoe stepped before he could tap out or do anything. And for Zack, a bit of a similarity here. You know, he's got the Suzuki Gun alliance to him, but also him and Taka are the almost equivalent of what Geto and Okada is, and what a moment in a match that could be, you know, as far as a great match. As what a finals that was. Very excited to see how it plays out, and it was one of the best matches of the year for New Japan. It was 30 plus minutes of just fantastic wrestling. What was so weird about this? It didn't feel like it had a slow pace to it at all. Which, for typical Zack Sabre Jr. matches, there's a slow pace to it. You know, because he slows your guy down, he's submissions, and he's a very wear and tear type of offense. Very slow, methodical. But this had just a different pace to it. Had that perfect pace to it. It really did. I really enjoyed that as far as the pacing goes. There are so many great spots, too, to talk about this. I mean, in all honesty, I could go on all day about it, how awesome this was. And as Zack Sabre Jr. makes him tap out, makes Hiroshi Tanahashi tap out, and wins the 2018 New Japan Cup. Holy shit. Wow, that was the best match of the Cup, which is great. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, as far as the finals being the best match. But Zack became the first Brit to win the New Japan Cup. Also the first Gaijin to win it since Giant Bernard in 2006. In my opinion, it's the greatest New Japan Cup run somebody has ever had. He beat 3 former Cup winners in Tetsuya Naito, Kota Ibushi, and Hiroshi Tanahashi, and probably a future one as well in Sonata. He beat 2 former IWGP champions. And he's also became the Hunk Hunter. God damn it. They took out 4 of the top 5 hunks. How about that? As now he's got to see if he can make it 5 for 5 at Sakura Genesis against Okada. What a fucking match that's going to be. As, in my opinion, that has a chance to being the best New Japan Cup. No, that has a chance of being the best IWGP title defense of Kazuchika Okada's reign so far in 2018, I'll say. Because I think it has a chance to be better than the Wrestle Kingdom 12 main event against Naito. I think it does have a chance to be better than the Sonata match as well. A lot of high praise for that match going into it. That's going to be... You're going to want to mark your calendars and watch that live. That's all I'm going to say there. But that will do it for my review of the rest of the New Japan Cup. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. As next time you will see me is for the New Japan Strong Style Evolve show in the United States. God bless you if you're going to it. Have fun. Enjoy the show. As I'll see you guys there. Take care.